The relatively small year-round population, Gettysburg is the county seat of Adams County. This is a four-season destination, and the locals love the outdoors. Thousands of visitors flock here to see living history from both the colonial period and the Civil War era. You'll love walking in the quaint downtown, shopping for souvenirs, eating in the diners, coffee shops, bars, and restaurants. They even have a farmer's market. Some stay downtown at the Gettysburg Hotel, but what you won't find is big skyscrapers here. In addition to history, visitors come year-round for ghost tours and to explore the great outdoors. But they also come for farm-to-table culinary offerings, wineries and cideries. Gettysburgians love their cider, so I decided to learn why Gettysburg and Adams County is the place for cider by visiting with Ben Wenk of Plowman Cider at Three Springs Farm. Nice place you got here. What do you have, 500 acres here?
A little short of 500 acres, 450 or so, yeah.
Oh my gosh, and seventh generation?
Seventh generation to farm in the area, yeah.
And we're talking primarily apples,
Yep.
right? A lot of apples. What kind of apples are you growing out here?
At least 50 varieties last time I stopped to count. Apples for grocery stores, apples for products like applesauce and apple juice.
Right.
And then apples for making alcoholic cider as well.
Which is, frankly, my favorite. But did I understand this correctly? Did you say that you can trace back any Macintosh apple you pick up, you can pretty much figure out what tree it came from? What are you talking about? That's crazy.
Sure. So all apples that are in commercial orchards are really kind of two organisms grafted together. You have a root stock,
Yep.
and then you have the scion, or the variety that you're trying to grow, and all of those varieties are kind of propagated and reproduced by cuttings. So they're all genetically similar. They all have to be cut from an existing tree of that variety and then grafted by your nurseryman onto a rootstock, and the rootstock kind of controls how that tree grows, to what size, what height, how it branches, different diseases and pests it might be more or less susceptible to.
Right.
A variety of things.
I mean, you're like, what is it, the fourth largest in the state or something? It's like something.
Yeah, it's the fifth largest county by production in the United States is Adams County, Pennsylvania.
You literally can take a bushel, for lack of a better description, of apples, and based on what you put in that bushel, you already have an idea of what you think it's going to taste like coming out as cider?
Sure, well, it's...
That's crazy. Like
yeah.
that, to me, that's awesome.
You know, every year's different, and in that ways it's very similar to making a wine. Like this year's quality of, let's say, Arlet apples is, you know, it's a little bit better at fruit than what we worked with last year. You can kind of, you know, do different things based on, you know, what the apples are telling you to do. You know, it's not very formulaic. We're really kind of letting nature and letting the apples decide what the most appropriate use for them is every time we're trying to blend a cider.
How's the culinary scene here at Adams County these
Oh,
days?
it's coming on fast, and you know, so many of the agricultural products and the produce that's used in some of these fine dining restaurants in DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, it's grown right here. And to see local chefs embracing that opportunity of being so close to the source and using those products in really fun, creative ways it makes me really proud to be from Adams County. It's a really awesome up and coming thing.
How do you describe Gettysburg and Adams County to somebody who's never been here before?
A lot of the things that I'm traveling to go see, whether it be, you know, the rolling hills of Napa Valley, or you know, taking in some history, or you know, dining at nice restaurants, like we have a lot of those things right here that I go and I have those experiences. It just makes me more proud to be back home at the end of the day. It's beautiful here.
After my conversation with Ben, I spent the afternoon exploring the apple orchards. I stopped by Hollabach Brothers Fruit Farm and Market. I did a tasting at Reed's Winery, checked in on the Mason-Dixon for small plates and a craft cocktail. I even made a visit to the farmer's market in downtown. And no, I don't recommend shooting olive oil. What I learned is that there's a culinary revolution going on here, and it's not limited to just cider. Classically trained and award-winning chefs are setting up shops in and around Gettysburg because of the abundant variety of fresh, local ingredients. Fiddler & Company is an example of just that. The menus created by chef-owner Josh Fiddler based on seasonal inspiration and ingredient availability. The pizzas and breads are to die for. Elsewhere around town, the locals grab a diner-style breakfast at Ernie's Texas Lunch. They get a coffee or tea and homemade pastry at Ragged Edge. But while you'll find your share of modern-day chain eateries, Gettysburg has never forgotten its historic culinary roots. You ever stop to consider what was on the menu in the mid-1800s? Oh, well, you're in luck. Make your way over to the Dobbin House. You will love the food, you'll love the costume servers, and you'll be dining in one of the oldest structures in town. Step back in time with a menu filled with 1860s fare. Delicious steaks and chops, fresh seafood. I suggest you make a reservation. There's a word I'm searching for, and no, it's not giant elephant. It's authenticity. You see, when you bring your children here to Gettysburg, you're exposing them to authentic experiences, from history to culture to culinary to the great outdoors. So remind them to look up from their phones. Oh, and bring them here to Mr. Ed's Elephant Museum and Candy Emporium. If your kids are like mine, they are tech savvy, but they also love candy. This is just one of the many places you can connect as a family without the technology. And to take that concept even further, you simply have to get outdoors. That's why we dropped in on Strawberry Hill Nature Preserve.
So we are surrounded by nature, we're surrounded by trails, surrounded by opportunities to engage with it. As soon as you get out, the first thing people usually see is our pink log cabin, which is actually a 1798 log cabin. It's made of American chestnut. That is kind of a homing beacon. Folks go right there, they find our trail map, and they see that there are 10 miles of trails they can explore, there's creeks that they can play in, and much more beyond our borders.
The last time I was on a hike, it wasn't so much the going, it was the coming back part.
Sure. Most of our trails are set up as loops. So you're going out one way and you're coming back a completely different way. And we have loops stacked on top of loops. So you can go for a mile or you can go for 5. We have photographers come out. We have birders. We occasionally host stargazing programs. So if the night is more your thing, or owl prowls, we have those as well.
And you have an owl.
We do have an owl, yes.
Tell me about this.
He's a barred owl. People fall in love with him right away. In November, we host the Twisted Turkey Trail Tussle. It's a 5K, 10K, and 15K race. It's become a big community festival for us, and we love seeing about 200 to 250 people out for it each year.
We're staying in Gettysburg, and what's nice is that we can kind of use that as sort of the hub and branch out and do things both in Adams County and just outside of Adams County, right?
Adams County is full of opportunities to get out into nature. There are a couple of state parks that are wonderful. There's Cadorus and there's Caledonia, which are on the east and west sides of the county respectively, which have lakes and hiking trails as well. If you want kayaking on a lake, then Cadorus is your place. If you want to maybe hit a creek, then Caledonia is more where you want to go.
We can do horseback riding, I'm assuming,
Yes.
all that kind of good stuff.
So one of the other annual events that we have and love is our Maple Sugaring Festival. We call it Mount Hope Maple Madness, and it's every year on the last Saturday in February and the first Saturday in March. And we see about 600 people over those 2 days come out for pancakes. We have a all-you-can-eat pancake buffet.
Is it too early for flapjacks? I say
Never.
no, never.
We also take them on tours out on the property to see everything from tapping a tree to cooking it down into syrup, and then they get to taste it at the end because that's the best part.